I accidentally discovered my boyfriend's secret identity at his family dinner. His grandmother's dementia revealed the truth that changed everything I thought I knew about him. When Mark invited me to his family's Thanksgiving dinner after 8 months of dating, I was both excited and nervous. Meeting the family is a big step, especially since Mark had been somewhat private about his background. All I knew was that he'd grown up in a small town before moving to Chicago for college. The dinner started perfectly. His parents were warm and welcoming. His sister was friendly, and his grandmother Emma, though suffering from advancing dementia, had moments of lucidity where she shared beautiful stories about Mark's childhood. He was always such a creative boy, she said, patting my hand. Or is making up stories. Mark seemed tense, but I assumed it was just the normal stress of introducing a girlfriend to his family. Then during dessert, everything changed. Emma looked at Mark with sudden clarity and said, "Daniel, why do they keep calling you Mark? Did you change your name again?" The table went silent. Mark's mother dropped her fork. "Mom, Mark's father," said gently. "That's Mark, not Daniel." "Daniel was someone else?" Emma looked confused. "No, that's my grandson, Daniel. I'd know him anywhere. He has the same scar on his chin from when he fell out of the oak tree at 7. I glanced at Mark's chin minus there was indeed a small scar there. He'd told me it was from a skateboarding accident. "Remember how you changed your name after that terrible thing with your friend?" Emma continued, oblivious to the tension. "What was his name, Jason? The boy who drowned?" Mark stood up abruptly. "I need some air," he said, avoiding my eyes as he walked out. His mother turned to me with a pained expression. "I am so sorry." Emma gets confused, mixes up stories, but something in her eyes told me this wasn't just confusion. I found Mark minus, or Daniel minus, sitting on the porch steps. When he saw me, his eyes were filled with tears. "I was going to tell you," he said quietly. "Hey," the story came out slowly. At 16, he and his best friend Jason had gone swimming in a quarry that locals knew was dangerous. Jason drowned. Daniel, consumed by guilt for suggesting the swim, couldn't face the small town where everyone knew what happened. After high school, he legally changed his name and created a new identity. New name, new richt, new life. "I am not a criminal," he said, his voice breaking. "I just couldn't be Daniel anymore." Daniel was the kid who got his best friend killed. I sat beside him processing everything. The man I loved had been living under a different name, a partially fictional history, yet looking at him now, vulnerable and afraid of my judgment, I realized something important. Whether he called himself Mark or Daniel, the person I'd fallen in love with was real. So I said finally, "Should I call you Mark or Daniel?" He looked up surprised by the question. "You are not leaving. Names change, people reinvent themselves. What matters is who you are now," I said. "Though I do think you owe Jason's family a visit after all these years." He nodded slowly. "I'd like you to call me Daniel. I think it's time to stop running." We returned to the table where his family waited anxiously. His grandmother smiled at us momentarily clear-eyed. "There you are, Daniel," she said. "I told them it was you. Sometimes it takes someone who forgets everything to remind us of who we really are."